Have you ever stopped to wonder why so much 20th century serious music seems determined to sound harsh, atonal, and deliberately ugly? We're often told it had to be this way. The claim is that after 2 world wars and unimaginable destruction, the old tonal language simply could not tell the truth about such horror. Music, they say, had to reject beauty to confront an ugly world. But is that really true? Or is there another story behind why Western art music took such a radical turn? Today I want to challenge the idea that this shift was inevitable or purely natural. Instead, let's look at how it was also a choice promoted from above, a choice that deserves to be questioned. You will often hear this justification. After the First and Second World Wars, composers simply could not go on writing tonal, traditional music. It sounds convincing at first. The 20th century saw upheavals on a scale never before imagined. Electricity, the telephone, the airplane, mechanized warfare, jet engines, atomic bombs, totalitarian states rising and falling. It seems only natural that the arts would reflect such radical change. But was this transformation truly unavoidable? Or was it a choice imposed by powerful institutions? One problem with the argument is that it is very Western-centric. Art did not move in the same direction everywhere. Even within Western history, there are many examples of catastrophic times that did not kill off the pursuit of beauty. Take the Black Plague, which may have killed half of Europe's population. What followed was not grim abstraction, but the Renaissance, a period of balance, harmony, and a rediscovery of classical beauty. Or think of the 30 Years' War, which killed up to 25% of the German population, a higher proportion than World War II did. Yet that devastation was followed by the High Baroque period, a time that produced some of the most ornate, emotionally rich, and beautiful music ever written. I could list many other disasters in history that did not lead artists to reject beauty altogether. Yet when people defend the atonal turn in the 20th century, they argue that this time was different, that the destruction was so unprecedented that no comparison holds up. But even this claim falls apart when we look at the Soviet Union. By any measure, they suffered immensely in World War II, losing nearly 30 million people, yet they did not reject beauty in their art. Painting followed socialist realism. Architecture embraced a sort of monumental classicism. Composers like Shostakovich, Prokofiev, and Khachaturian wrote tonal, emotionally direct music that audiences still love to this very day. At this point, some might say, but the Soviet Union forced art to be this way. And that is true. Stalin imposed his own conservative tastes. But here's the uncomfortable part. The West was no different. Avant-garde art in the West did not emerge solely from the free marketplace of ideas. It was actively promoted by Western governments, especially the United States, as a cultural weapon in the Cold War. Agencies like the CIA covertly funded and encouraged modern art as propaganda. The message was clear. Look how free we are. Our artists can do anything. Artists who embraced the avant-garde received support, publicity, and opportunities. Those who did not were often ignored or sidelined. If you want an example, consider the city of Darmstadt in Germany. It became a famous center for avant-garde music after the war. When I began researching this topic, I noticed there was also a US military intelligence base in Darmstadt. That connection made me wonder about the level of coordination. I cannot say that the base itself directly started the music courses, but it is documented that US military intelligence, as an institution, helped to found and fund the Darmstadt music courses in the late 40s. The goal was not simply to let art evolve naturally and freely. It was to reshape cultural tastes, to break ties with older traditions seen as dangerous, and to prevent any revival of nationalist sentiment. In the immediate aftermath of the war, the US military government in Germany explicitly banned works by Wagner, Sibelius, and even quite standard fare like Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. They feared these works might reignite nationalist or fascist ideas. There was a deliberate effort to change the cultural source code of post-war society, and in many ways they were successful. But despite decades of institutional support, this project did not produce serious music that truly connected with broad audiences. Even today, serialism and the avant-garde remain largely academic. You can program them on the radio or in concerts as much as you want, but most people do not want to listen to them. Meanwhile, the tonal Soviet composers are still with us. Look at your local symphony's concert season. You will almost certainly see Shostakovich or Prokofiev on the program. Will you see Stockhausen, Babbitt, Boulez, Latterman, or Cage programmed with the same frequency? The answer is no. The idea that art had to become ugly to match an ugly world is at best a post hoc justification for the artistic choices of a post-war elite. Why did the West choose this path? Well, there were many reasons. Part of it was the desire to suppress nationalism, seen as one of the roots of fascism. Part of it was the desire to showcase freedom in the Cold War. But these choices were not inevitable. They were made by people in positions of power. And even though this project in modern classical music has never built a truly popular following, it endures in many crucial institutional spaces. There are still commissions, grants, and programs pushing experimental dissonance and avant-garde forms that most people never truly embraced or ever will. It is time to question this legacy. Music can evolve, it can experiment, it can innovate, but it does not have to reject beauty forever. Audiences are hungry for something new, something meaningful, something beautiful. Maybe it is time to stop letting institutions and old ideological battles decide what our art should be.